to bless Dasharatha, our king.
At daybreak in the Ayodhya palace, the royal singers clapped their hands and sang the praises of King Dasharatha and his ancestors to awaken the old king. And all the birds in the garden outside sang.
The serving maids threw sandal powder into the warm water for Dasharatha's bath.
Men servants came to the doorway of Kausalya's bedroom, and there they set out a golden jar of Ganga water for the king to sip.
They laid out new woven cloth and new bright metal mirrors.
And many new things of good fortune and excellent virtue,
so that the king would see them first thing on awakening.
So long as the sun did not yet rise, they awaited Dasharatha.
Then golden sunbeams poured light in through the windows, and the king did not appear.
The serving maids entered Kausalya's room. The queen slept beside Dasharatha. Her hand had slipped from his. They first spoke quiet words, but when Dasharatha did not awake, they touched him, and he was cold. They shook like water grass in the wave.
Kausalya awoke.
Queen Sumitra came running. Kaikeyi stood at Dasharatha's feet, all forlorn and crying, "Oh, love!"
The sounds of lamenting for King Dasharatha filled every cavern on earth with sorrow, carried through the sky to the end of every direction.
the charioteer Sumantra put the king's body in an iron vat of oil. He sent out 3 swift horsemen to ride to the Kekeya land to summon Bharata and Shatrughna to make the funeral.
The 3 horsemen rode fast.
They overtook the winds. Their horses' hooves drove dents in the stones.
They broke the trees they passed near.
When they crossed rivers, they left them dry.
They rode 3 black horses running abreast,
Running with head
And neck,
and flying tail, all in a line.
they pounded through the forest haunted by bird ghosts.
They raced past Brahmanas, cupping their hands to drink water.
from the Narayana's footprints at dawn.
They went northwest and leapt the river,
whose waters turned to stone what they touched,
They darted across Panchala.
and Hastinapura, the elephant city.
never stopping day or night.
After 4 days, a wall of dust appeared at Kekeya city, covering the mountain lakes and shrouding the sky. The sunset burned the dust red.
Night came,
And midnight,
and the Ayodhya riders came from the dust and entered the city like
thunder over a bridge in the dark. Bharata had been asleep, but an evil dream had awakened him.
In that dream, he saw the ocean dry and the moon fall to earth.
He saw the tusks of Dasharatha's elephants shatter, and the fires of Ayodhya go out.
and saw smoke come from the hills of Koshala.
Bharata awoke in the night, shaking and frightened. His grandfather, King Aswapati, was still awake.
he tried to cheer Bharata with light, happy music and comic plays.
But the prince could not smile.
Bharata's red skin was pale.
His red hair was dark and damp with sweat.
His throat was dry.
His eyes were red as blood.
And he couldn't sit still. Shatrugna came to his brother, stood by him, blacker than night, and the gold bracelets on his dark arm flamed in the torchlight. Bharata said, "I feel terrible. Suddenly, for no reason, I hate life." Shatrugna said, "Someone has died, but I don't know who."
Then the Ayodhya riders entered, showing no signs of sorrow.
King Ashwapati and his son Yuddhajit rose to meet them.
The Ayodhya riders told Bharata, "Hurry to Ayodhya."
"Rest a moment," said Bharata. "How is my father?
We cannot linger.
How is my mother?
We cannot rest.
How is Rama?"
Hurry to Ayodhya. Restless faith and fortune call you home.
"Grandfather, give us Kekia horses for our chariot."
I give. He embraced Bharata and Shatrugna. He smelled their head, pressed his hand through their hair. "Go, my children, I permit you. Tell my daughter Kaikeyi that we are all well here. Give her my love and return to me when I remember you."
We send no gifts. We are your friends in any threat or danger. Call us if you have the smallest need. Do not waste time on polite ceremonies of leave-taking.
Driving their chariot garnished with gold by the fiery light of sunrise, Bharata and Shatrugna saw Ayodhya and slowed their mountain horses. They looked down on her from the soft rising hills to the north. They stopped. There was not a sound from the still city. The countryside was strangely quiet, as though Lord Shiva were walking abroad in the dawn among the trees somewhere near.
Shatrugna said, "The streets are empty. The doors are closed and shutters drawn across the windows. This is a sad view."
Do you remember, said Bharata, in the early mornings, standing here, we could smell the scent of wines, and the wind would carry faint perfumes.
Shatrugna said, "Our great father, the sun, now rises, and no one sings."
Our homes are burnt out. Those are but their shells remaining.
They drove into Ayodhya. Their chariot wheels ground low and moaned as they passed through the victory gate, once guarded like the gateway into heaven. No guard stood there. No young couple drunk with love's honey wine came walking home from the parks at dawn. They didn't see a living soul. Shatrugna was brooding. He said,
"If anyone still lives here, they ought to leave, or they'll be dead by tonight."
Ooh. They drove into Ayodhya, once flooded with light. Bharata said,
The dread of what awaits me hides in my heart and will not go.
They entered the palace.
They entered the palace. They entered the palace.
The doors were half open.
There was rust on the hinges, and nothing was seen as it had been. during the king's life.
Shatrughna went to find Rama.
Bending his head, Bharata walked slowly to his mother Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi rose from her window seat, and Bharata knelt down and held her feet. Then he stood and asked her, "But where is my father? Why is your golden bed empty?"
My son, every marriage must end in sorrow unless both man and wife die together. He's gone to the next world under the law of time. He lives no longer. He has died.
Bharata tore off his headband and let his long hair fall. He took the ashes from an incense dish and rubbed it on his brow. He said, "I take Rama for my refuge. I take Rama for my protection." But how hard to bear. What did Dasharatha say when you last saw him?
He said, "Who will see Rama again?"
Bharata stood, grave as the ocean and still as the sky. Smoke rose from his body. His eyes burned like red gleams of hell's light. Where is Rama, whose soft hands brush the dust from me when I fall?
Your father disinherited Rama so that you could take this kingdom without a rival. And he banished him and died from the grief of parting.
Why? Whose wife did Rama take?
He took no other's woman. This was done to please you.
No. Who did Rama wrong, rich or poor?
No one. Why are you not delighted?
What did Rama steal?
Nothing. For no crime was he banished. I used my 2 wishes. The Kausalas are yours. Ayodhya is yours. You are the king.
How hateful!
Bharata ran to Kausalya's room. There were his friends. Kausalya and Sumitra were there too. Vashishta, Sumantra the charioteer, and his brother Shatrughna stood by them. Bharata knelt before Kausalya. "Mother, we have returned from the hills. I did not know. I'll never take it. I don't want to rule others. I don't want possessions. I know nothing."
Enough. You are innocent. Kausalya laid a hand on his head. You were the one injured. No one blames you.
Sumatra said, I left Rama in the forest. This is a bad world.
Bharata said, "The whim of a whore."
Vasishta said, "She is your own mother."
"Not anymore. What good is anything without Rama?
Shatrugna said, Lakshmana was right to go beside Rama.
True enough, said Bharata.
How will father look the gods of the heaven in the eye?
Death will be small comfort to him.
Be still a moment.
Ramana, why did she darken our fame? We all loved her. And she said she loved us. Why does she hate us now?
And what has she gained anyway?
Crushing sorrow.
Surely desire easily outruns honor?
Sumitra said, Bharata, everything will be fine. My son Lakshmana is with Rama, and my son Shatrugna is with you. We are friends.
Do you think so? She trapped him and killed him like a deer. She lured him into a snare by a sweet song.
Sumatra said, Rama,
What about Rama?
he commands you to obey your father and not to take away his authority at his old age. He is covered by the blessings of Queen Kausalya. Vashishta blessed him. He blessed them all.
Did he promise?
Prince Bharata, listen to me. Rama said that he would go away for 14 years. He would never break his promise. We need a king.
What for?
In a kingless land, there is no rain. Families break apart in shame. Charity cannot be kept. Kindness goes. There is no law. Then who sleeps with an open door or finds a safe path? Bandits will invade Koshala. Disputes will arise and not be solved. There will be no justice. Our ancient stories will never more be heard.
What is there to do?
Take my advice. Rule us.
No, no. For my part, I will go to the forest and bring Rama back.
Sumatra smiled. I'll find him for you.
My father did not consult with old friends like you.
Vasishta said again, be our king until Rama returns.
Watch it! Do not tempt me with treasures in one hand and hold back happiness in the other, or I will move out against you.
There is a great ocean of grief to cross. Regret and remorse are his whirlpool, and tears are his tide. Kaike's wishes are his near shore, and 14 years are his expanse, and the shrill words of the hunchback mantra are his ravenous sharks.
Whose words?
Wait. If Rama hears we have killed Mantra, he will never look on us again.
Shrieks of crazy laughter rang through the palace. But Shatrugna sat down and ignored them. Vashishta said, by the heavens, multitudes have censured mantra and found no peace of mind from it. Burn the body of the king Bharata. Do this much. Free the people. Let their sorrow come out. One may fall and bear being kicked by another, but one cannot fall and bear ever so little sorrow. Sorrow deforms our thoughts and our reflection. It grows within, smothers our hearts. Sorrow has made Ayodhya unbeautiful to see. It has dishonored her. Who can live here? What is life without joy? Don't let sorrow beat down the Kosalas. Make the king's funeral. Let us be done with this.
Black funeral smoke hung in the air. And Bharata wept like a hurt boy. Vashishta put his arm around him.
Atop the pyre, Dasharatha's face still showed as if he was asleep, a little pale.
The rest of his body was buried under flowers and under solid perfumes that began to melt. The flames kindled from the fire chamber of Ayodhya and reached up and hit the king's corpse.
That burning freed Dasharatha's spirit. It let him come out from Yama's shadowy land and get from the moon his heavenly body.
And in celestial robes took his rightful place in heaven.
In my youth, time's true nature was hidden from me. But now I know all his harmful ways. I'll never forget what my mother has done. I want to go away and never hear her name again. Vasishta, how will she be born? Future life.
She will never know the truth. Never understand. She will doubt life while facing the sun. She will be a mad beggar eating dirt from a skull. She will be a miser, living alone, then robbed by thieves. She will be a poor man, living in a large family, living in a land ruled in fear by a bad king. She will be a great teacher who forgets all his learnings, and shameless turns to dice and women, and puts his old servants out to starve in the streets.
What else?
She will not do one good deed. She will betray friends and hand them over to the king's soldiers. She will give wealth to unworthy liars and dash the hopes of the poor who look up to her trustingly. She will refuse water to thirsty travelers by lying that she has none. She will poison wells. She will be an unwelcome philosopher who quarrels painfully over points of view. And she will be born again as one who listens to such talk.
What else?
In this very life, she will not live to see Rama return.
Is that all?
I have added nothing and left out nothing. This will be her lot. Unless you can forgive her, Bharata.
I forgive.
Compassion is great enough where it can have no effect. Used to achieve something, it is supreme.
A son comes to life from the blood of his mother's heart. Therefore he is dear to her.